I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Shaun Abbott, and this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 43. Nate, you know what that means?
Yep, Richard Petty, right?
Petty Enterprises.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yeah.
The 1994 Petty Enterprises Pontiac Grand Prix, driven by John Andretti.
Great driver for that car.
And, makes it even better.
Well, think about this too, right? John Andretti won at Martinsville in the 43 car in
That's
1999.
exactly why I picked this one, Nate. Good
Yes,
boy.
yep. Yeah, I know my NASCAR stuff.
Oh,
Believe me.
man. Just
Yeah.
thrilled to have you. Thrilled to have you back with the NASCAR stuff, Nate. It was awesome.
Yes. See,
Unfortunately, John passed away in 2020 from colon cancer. So that was a bummer. Anyways, so great driver though. Versatile.
Yeah, no, well, he's a jack of all trades, really. I mean, he did open wheel racing, right? Indy 500 starts. I saw him race in the 2011 Indy 500,
Right.
which was really cool to see.
Sprint cars, midgets,
Yep. Oh yeah.
IMSA prototypes.
He did it all.
Drove
Did he
with-
win the 24 Hours a Daytona? I feel
He
like.
did. He
Yeah.
did.
Okay. All right.
In the Miller High Life 962.
Yes. See.
He also drove the BMW GTP car, first one.
Man. Great cars.
With Davy Jones, and then the other car was David Hobbs and John Watson. Anyways.
The lineup.
Yeah, pretty cool. Two cars. All right. On tonight's episode, we'll talk Formula One. Ibrizella. Very exciting. Race.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk NASCAR, Martinsville. Nate has some thoughts.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
have a
gonna clock
roundup.
them in. Get it. I'm gonna clock them in.
Yeah, got it. Nice.
Good one.
We'll have a roundup of the WEC finale, the 8 hours of Bahrain. Then we'll go into news and notes. I know everyone was kind of expecting our annual, our election night podcast, but that's not happening.
Yeah. No.
Gonna avoid the controversy there. Controversy.
Yeah. Oh, must be enough one, right? I mean, or Martinsville. Hell,
Anyways, all right. Let's go.
everywhere.
Formula One, Brazil. And welcome back to the top of the podium, Max Verstappen. In a career... Huh?
We're starting with F1.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because
Christian's
I...
flabbergasted.
because I think Nate's got a few things to say about Martinsville. Not so much the race, but some of the shenanigans that went on late in the race.
Okay.
Not impacting the front of the field, but the whole playoff thing. Anyway, so we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
But
you
either
read my
way,
mind.
if nothing happened in a NASCAR race, I still want to talk about the Formula One race because this was one of the epic drives of all time.
Mm-hmm.
People can disagree with me, but I'm just going to say that this was probably one of the most epic drives I've ever seen anybody do.
Yeah.
100%.
No? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so good. We're all speechless.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
All right.
You can't deny what happened there, and it was
No.
dominance.
And you can't deny what happened after the pass for the lead of Ocon occurred and what he did to extend that lead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was. I don't want to get to that point, but and God forbid we're in Brazil, but it was Senna-esque. in
It
the
sure
wet.
was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
It was a really magical weekend, really, because Lewis Hamilton got to drive the Senna car and in the wet with the Brazilian flag. That was a pretty good
That was
prologue to everything.
and the funny thing about that was probably the best car Lewis drove all weekend.
Mm.
I mean,
I mean,
think he would even agree
he
with
said
that.
it, so yeah. He
Did he say it?
Yeah,
Did
he was
Lewis
like,
say it? Oh.
he's like, weekend's good. That was the best session.
All right,
He agrees with that.
let's delve into it. We had a sprint race format this weekend. I'm not a fan, but
It's useless.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it's just another way to create entertainment.
Drama.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess the only thing I'll say is that this was probably one of the more entertaining sprint races.
It was
that
until it was, and then we have the you have the championship driver in contention, not Max, but the guy that's in second, Lando. He gets thoroughly shellacked by his teammate, and then hey, can you pull over?
Right.
The only
At one point.
Well, really, that's exactly it, Nate.
He blew the race come Sunday, but I mean,
well, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead, Christian.
The team orders thing, they needed to commit to it earlier in the season because now they just look
exactly
because now it looks stupid.
Exactly.
And in the sprint race, I get it. It makes sense, but after having how the race itself unfolded, it doesn't matter at this point. But if they wanted something like that to matter, the Hungary race should have been different, and they should have just kept Lando in the lead. And I mean, whenever they had a chance to swap the two and get more points towards Lando, that's what they should have been doing.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And 100% but agree. I mean, and the same goes for Max or for either driver at Ferrari. Like, if you are going to try and win the driver's title, especially with how tight it's been over these last 10 races or 15 races, really.
Yeah.
You need to, if you want to make a concerted effort, then do it. Don't just say, oh, well, we're not going to do it, but we're going to do it. And it's like, just say it outright. Like, it is what it is. That's part of the game. It's always been part of the game. And yeah, I know there's plenty of money up for the constructors title and all that stuff, but I don't know. I mean, like, if you're gonna rattle off champions of F1, you're not rattling off constructors championships. You're rattling off the drivers. The driver, right. Whoever wins the drivers is going to get more associated name recognition of who the champion is than whoever wins the constructors. And I know there's plenty of money, that's prize money that's given out for the manufacturers or the constructors, same thing, for that title. But if you're trying to get a fan interested, it's always about the driver's title. That's it.
Well, it sure is. And to kind of add to this, I really think everything started with the Hungarian Grand Prix, right? Because Lando is leading, and then Oscar is all of a sudden the leader. All right, that's just where's the confusion, right? All of a sudden, you're now just giving up the lead to give it to Oscar to give his first win, and he has, first of all, the lamest first win I think in all of F1. He really does. Gifted to him. His real first win should have been at Azerbaijan. That was a legitimate win. Very much a legitimate win. I think it's just, poor management, even between the team, on where the focus is on the Drivers' Championship and Team Championship. You don't, I know Mark Webber probably has a heavy influence on Oscar Piastri. Look, you're not the second driver, but you also have to think big picture in this, because never mind the constructors championship, but you also want to win the drivers championship, and that's blowing up in your face right now with three races to go. I mean, time is crunching. I mean, Max could even win the championship, right? Next race, if Lando has one bad race, or it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, Lando has to outscore
What
Max.
Is he has like 50, 60 something.
Lando has to outscore Max by 2 points to make it carry into the next race. So look, I mean, even if the Red Bull isn't the fastest car and Max finishes 7th or 8th, it's
still some points. He's doing damage control at that point is what that is.
Yeah, but
getting some points on the table.
It's very manageable right now. I mean, they would really need the car to blow up 3 races in a row for Lando to have a shot.
Right.
Well, I guess really.
But Lando also has to perform as well. It's not like he can finish 10th in these races.
No, and that's just it. Like there is no margin anymore for error on his end. He used all that up at this race in Brazil.
Well, it's, to me, that drive by Max Verstappen in Brazil come Sunday. It was masterclass, flat out masterclass.
Yeah, let's shall we talk about? Do we have anything else left to talk about the sprint race? I mean, I don't really.
I know. We get off topic a little bit, but I mean the sprint.
I think the sprint was entertaining. There was a good battle between Max and the Ferraris.
Yeah, and Max unfortunately suffered a penalty for something. I don't know what.
He tried to. It was a VSC infraction of when they were going back to the green, and
did he jump it a little bit?
Yeah, he kind of jumped it. Now,
all right.
and the time that I saw was like just over half a second that he was too fast, and I'm like, and then considering how the race played out from there, like he didn't get past Piastri, and so I don't think there should have been a need for a penalty, because at that point the other point too is he was far and away from Leclerc at that point, so it's not like he was dragging him in and gonna lose a position that way. So I mean I know I was harping on the stewards last week and just their inconsistency between penalties and whatnot, so I understand like a penalty is a penalty. However, there is a point of where I would like to see races govern, and if I'm all for just letting the drivers handle it on track, and if he's playing a game and trying to make a jump, like fine, and then if there's a little bit of leeway of how it goes out, like if Max got the position right then and there on the restart, yeah, no problem. Just tell him to give it back and try again, because I think that's a reasonable approach. If you have to go look at where's the line drawn, and so we need to do something about that. But I mean, if they weren't going to make a decision how long that they did after that, I would just leave it. And I mean, it's just 1 point. Although, I guess if we're all set with the sprint race, I would like to talk about qualifying.
Well, who got pole position?
Well, so pole position was Lando in qualifying. But I do want to bring up the red flag incident with Hülkenberg.
Oh, yeah. Shaun, hear this.
And, or actually, was it Hülkenberg in qualifying?
No, it was... Oh, I thought it was Albon. Was it? Or maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
There was a car off the track and needed help to get back on. The timing of when they threw the red flag to end Q2 or Q3. I'm sorry, Q first session. Was or no. It was the second qualifying session. Sorry. The timing of when they threw the red flag was very suspicious because you basically said that you let an amount of time go by where guys improve their lap, because they were able to finish the lap in that time, and then after letting a few guys finish their lap, you then tell the other half of drivers that they can't finish the lap. So it was too late to call it a red, in my opinion, or they were just not quick enough with reacting to it, and that's it. It stinks, but that's also part of the human error because then you can. I don't know. I mean, like in a sense, you could have sat there and played the game of, well, if all of these penalties start adding up on Max ever since Mexico, then there was a conspiracy to get Lando to be closer in the points for the championship and then ultimately win it, and then wouldn't that be ironic of how Max loses a championship by some stewarding misfortune? I mean, that's really digging down the rabbit hole.
Right.
But, I mean, it does get back to... It gets back to the stewards. Like, if you're going to make a call, make a call. And make sure you're on your toes during the weekend. Like, do you want to make a call or do you not want to make a call? It's right. I mean, they're in a lose-lose situation a lot of times. Yeah. No one likes to be the referee. But, I mean, someone's got to do it, and unfortunately, there just hasn't been good consistency of which way they fall on a lot of stuff.
Right. All right. So at the end of qualifying, Lando had pole. Mm-hmm. George was second. Oscar was...
No. Yuki was third.
Oh, Yuki was third, right.
Yes.
Max was out in that session, so at 12, but he fell to 17th because of the five grid place penalty on the engine change.
Yes.
Then we had the Ferraris.
I know Lawson was fifth. I think Piastri was fourth, maybe.
But the bigger issue was that Albon crashed out, and he was and because it was like same day qualifying, he was basically out of the race, even though he qualified in the top 10. So his spot was available.
I guess that's another thing to note too, is that qualifying got rained out on Saturday and pushed to Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, right? Which was smart.
Yep. Yep.
It's not.
Or wasn't the other option to go off of FP1 results?
Yes.
Yeah, but that was only if it rained on Sunday. So.
Okay, but it did rain on Sunday.
Yeah, but not enough to impact qualifying.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nate,
I think that a lot of cars at risk, and if you destroy your car in qualifying, you have zero time to fix it for the race. No. This is a very valid thing. I get it, racing. But there's also the other part. There's also the other side of the argument. You got to think about this. Albon's car is destroyed, and they're used to having Logan Sargent crash all of their cars, and this is just giving them nightmares.
Nate, in the immortal words of Michael Massey, Toto, it's an automobile race. We're going racing, okay? So I don't. Nate,
good one, Shaun. Yeah, no.
Nate, if you want to bring NASCAR into this and not rain, fine. I have
just NASCAR.
Just you know what, Nate, get a dog. Not buying that.
Yeah.
Not buying that.
I'm
not buying that.
I would have been like, let's just do FP1 results.
God, Nate.
Let's just You don't have first race cars going into the race.
You watch too much.
It's
too
the
much
same. It's the same thing with these sprint weekends.
Right.
No. Let me back that up. No. Let me back that up. It's the same thing with a regular weekend because if you crash the car in FP3, you can't qualify.
You can't qualify.
I know. Okay, I get it. It's not the race,
that's not where the points are. That's not where the points are.
But if you crash at Monaco in FP3, your race is done.
Right. Yeah. And
there are some races where qualifying is more important than others. I'll admit that, but it's
100%.
It's the same thing. It is the driver's responsibility to not wreck the car.
Right.
Because there's a consequence of having to rebuild.
That's why I don't like these sprint races, because you have a race and something could happen in the race and you damage the car. You're out of quality, like literally at risk.
Like you're screwed. You're right. Screwed.
So let's do the additional risk being, let's not have another race. Let's just let's put it this way: had they not done the sprint thing, they probably would have got the qualifying in.
Yeah.
Because they could have
the car. Just here we go.
Well, you could have. No. I'm just saying they could have canceled. Like if there was no sprint, they could have canceled FP3 or moved FP3 up, qualified, and been done before the rain, and no one would have had wrecked cars.
See. Okay.
So,
all right.
So it all comes back to that sprint race. So I'm not buying it. Like the guys should, as Christian said, drivers need to understand the risks, and that's it. Sorry, that's that's the way it goes.
Right.
But
I mean, even look at some other series too. I mean, if you're IndyCar with a double header race weekend, you don't really want to crash the car on a Saturday because you got to race Sunday.
Great, and case in point. Denny Hamlin almost didn't win the NASCAR race this weekend. He stuffed it in the wall.
I was like,
all right. So I mean, that was almost a whole mess.
Oh,
okay,
Dennis, don't do that.
All right. So let's.
But the throttle was hung on that one, so that's that.
Yeah. Well, Nate, let's come on.
Just saying.
That was weird. Sorry, I'm not buying that. Anyways, so now let's jump fast forward to the race now. We got 2 guys out. We got Albon's out. Who was the other one that was out?
Stroll.
No. He was in. No, somebody else was out.
Oh, K-Mag was sick this weekend. And
no. There were 2 cars that didn't take the grid.
Yeah, Stroll was the other one.
No, Stroll wiped it out on the warm-up lap.
Yes, so he didn't make the race.
Right, he didn't make the race.
Oh, I thought there was.
No.
Okay, so that was after.
Well, I'm sorry. Sainz started from pit lane.
Sainz started from pit lane, right? That's what I was getting to. Then we had Daddy's Cash. I mean,
on the warm-up lap.
Okay. Well, first off, he was going into carried too much speed in there. He should have been just dragging the brake in there. Spun off. Then. This crack driver who is definitely Formula One material, instead of going off to the right and looping the car around to go back onto the track, decides to drive through the gravel.
Yeah, right into the gravel and beaches it.
And beached it.
You can't make this shit up. Yeah, I know. No. I know.
All right. So then we get that. So now we have this this controversial thing about the start. Was it a star? Or was it what? You know what? At the end of the day, it didn't matter, and it was just like I was sick and tired of listening about it. It's just like it should have been decisive, and maybe it's just like, you know what? Maybe race control goes, we effed up, and we'll just leave it alone. Which, if that's the case, good on them. Because if they didn't do the proper instructions to Lando and McLaren as to what was going to happen next, then good on them. No?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's... I'm kind of indifferent about it. I mean, on one hand, there are rules, and if race control didn't make a mistake and Lando and McLaren just went, then, they should be penalized for whatever the penalty is. But on the flip side, if race control messed up, just whatever, and don't really make a huge fuss about it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, at that point, you could have just you could just come out and say that there was a problem with the electronics, like how they had that issue at Monaco, and just blamed it on that and been done with it. Then no one would be crying or anything like that. And yeah, it is. I guess the only outside take on this is just for any future races. It does beg the question of, do all the teams know about this, because do they expect to be in that position a lot of the times? And I mean, as over the past 10 years, I mean, how many teams have taken pole and how many drivers have been on pole?
No, I understand, but usually, like in WEC, the race director always is reminding everyone what's going on. Maybe that didn't happen. We don't hear that anymore, so we don't know. Anyway,
how WEC, now the WC broadcasts their race control messages is definitely the best example of how everything should run, and that's how you hope F1.
But they don't do it in Formula One. They don't do it in Formula One after the whole Abu Dhabi thing. So we have to. We can't. So anyways, let's. I'm just going to go on the assumption that the race controls screwed something up. The directors just said, you know what, we screwed up. Just let it go. It didn't. In the end of the day, it didn't change the results. Because at that point, George and Lando had taken off. Okay, they headed off into the distance. Max made a storming drive through the field, and passing everybody and getting up to and in behind Leclerc. Now that got dicey there, because that was everyone getting held up by Yuki, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
that became a kind of and because it was a rain race, there wasn't DRS, so that was essentially a DRS train. Guys just couldn't get by. So, at that point, this is where I kind of don't get. I guess what McLaren was thinking was, why did they pit?
They've had this continuous problem where they're just like.
I mean, they should have done was just let Russell pit, and then Lando could have got more. I think Lando was quicker and could have pulled off, but they pitted when Russell pitted.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad luck at that point. I think I don't necessarily think McLaren did anything wrong there. I mean, they pit around halfway of the race, which, I mean, if you're gonna make it a one stop, then that's when you would pit. So I think it's just bad luck, bad timing of how it played out for them.
Yeah. And I agree.
I mean, the Red Bull played it smart for what they did. I mean, it lucked into their way, because the rain came down, and I think the interesting thing would have been if they waited long enough, which they did. Would all the teams have pitted for wet tires, like full wets?
So, like, this is kind of where Red Bull's gotten caught, literally with their pants down before. Is pitting, they're up front, they're pitting too soon. Instead, this time they waited it out. Okay. And then what they did was they waited it out to see two things. First, see where Russell and Lando were going to come out and how they were going to come through the field. And also, I think they had an inkling that Ferrari was going to try and pit Leclerc, which they did. And Charles came out, and there was no gap to put Max into. Yeah. So, where Ferrari put him, he couldn't get anywhere. So at that point, they're like, okay, let's just keep going. And boom, sure enough, it falls into their hands. They get a yellow, go green, then they get a yellow that turns into a red. And, on Calapinto's crash. And it's game over. Come to the pit lane, and here comes the stupid, falls right into whatever, right into their lap. I mean, it's like you guys are coming in second place. You get a free pit stop. Doesn't cost you anything with the tires. George and those guys are stuck where they are. They can change tires, which they did, but they were stuck.
Yeah.
And then we go out for the restart. I think the Alpine was a little bit better on the
intermediates.
On the intermediates initially, and
Right.
I think it took the Red Bull to kind of wear him in a little bit because Ocon pulled away a pretty good gap, and he was quick. But the telltale sign was on the restart and the infamous photo of, what did Max take him on a restart on the next restart?
Yeah, Max got Gasly on the restart.
On the next, was that on the initial restart with or was the next restart? That was the one. That was the. No, it wasn't after the red flag. There was another one. The Hulkenberg one.
Yeah, after the VSC.
Yeah, and he got him, and he gets him going into one, and there goes Lando sailing straight off in turn one. And
no!
I mean,
that was the red flag restart.
No, okay, whatever. It was going, and it's game over at that. And that's right there goes. That's the championship. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's no coming back from this.
No, it's a very steep climb.
This is for the drivers' championship. This this win by Verstappen no means puts Red Bull back into the manufacturers thing because Checo did another dog job this weekend. I mean, it's just brutal.
He's consistent, Shaun. He's just
consistently bad. Anyways, so I mean now it's really this manufacturer's title. I mean, unfortunately with Carlos, I think coming out of the race this weekend. If you're,
it's doable. I mean, it's still doable for Ferrari. It's 30 something points. That is achievable. But I mean, Ferrari needs to finish. Both cars need to finish ahead of McLaren.
So as after that, Max just drives off, and he just there's graphics out there. What GP his race engineer was saying to him. And what Max did for the next 15 laps, which was literally turned fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, and grew it to a 15-second lead.
It
was crazy. Like
10 laps in a row or fastest lap. I mean, granted, part of that is the track condition getting better.
Right, but still, the car was working.
Yes. The driver was working.
Driver was working, yeah. So, so then we have, Max takes the flag. We have Ocon and Gasly finishing second and third. Well done for Alpine. Couldn't have come at a better time. Gets them up into the mid-pack points. Congratulations to them. So, I mean, from my point of view, great race overall. I mean, one of the most epic drives I've seen by a driver in the modern time. I'd have to go back to center at Donington or center in the rain at Monaco. I just don't recall someone having that kind of a drive in the wet. It was amazing.
Well, from previous wet races we've had, you could go Max in 2016, I think it was.
At Spa?
No, at Interlagos.
Yeah. You don't want to talk Georgia. You want to talk Georgia?
No, I don't want to talk short race. But the other stat that I saw was the last time that a driver had won a race from that far back was Kimi at Suzuka.
Right.
So
2005.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a wet race, but a very good, very, very dominant performance.
And he lost that championship by that crash in Nürburgring. That's where I think he lost the championship. Went that one lap too long. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about points like that, you can always go to like 5 different things.
Oh, I mean, for sure. But I mean,
because even like Alonso's championship run in
2012,
I immediately go to Spa. If you don't get wrecked out there, there's points. So And then
sure.
even with Max and Lewis in 21, there were plenty of races between the both of them of how they could have gained points over one another.
Right,
And then,
Silverstone, Monza.
yep. And then,
Right, just a couple to name.
And then even this year, if well, and we still have some races left to be played out. Say Lando won the championship. I think there's the one race that immediately comes to mind is Australia for Red Bull and Max, because that was when the car was dominant over everyone else, and so I mean that was a win in the bag, and they had an engine failure.
Yeah.
So I mean that definitely would have been that race had been looking more and more critical over these last few races as Lando and McLaren have been closing the gap on Max. But I don't know. Now it just seems kind of all wrapped up from that sake.
Well, and that could have really that was a surprise retirement for starters. But the add-on to it was if that ended up being like the possible cause, or not cause, but like added element to the championship where Max loses it by some crazy scenario. It's one of those races where you look back and it's like, well, he could have gained points there, or just that possibility. Because I mean, even I'm thinking of last engine retirements that lost the driver a championship. It's like Lewis Hamilton in Malaysia, and Nico Rosberg ended up winning the whole thing.
Actually, wasn't it the engine failure or Lewis driving off in the pit lane in Malaysia?
No, the driving off in the pit lane was at China. That was in 07.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
Oh, yep.
Nate's talking about 16.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we just take a quick peek at the standings?
Yeah.
So Max now extends his lead out to 62 points with 3 to go.
Yep.
I mean, come on, Shaun, right?
Over Norris. Yep.
The magic gap for him to win the title after this weekend is Lando. If Lando doesn't score 2 or more points over Max, then Max has the title wrapped up.
Yeah. Now, Lando is now under threat from Charles, who is now 24 behind for second place in the championship. That's a bigger threat than Lando to Max. Yeah,
and I mean, even if I'm sorry. Do you want to continue with the drivers' championship? And
then Piastri's in 4th, but at this point, he needs he's in 4th, but he needs to defend from Sainz, who is 18 behind him. Mm-hmm. And then from there back, it's Russell, Hamilton, Perez, Alonso, and Hulkenberg. That is just those guys. No choice. No, nothing there.
Yeah.
On the constructor's standpoint, McLaren sits with 593, Ferrari at 557. So what are we? 63 points there. No, 56 points, right? No, sorry.
No,
36 points.
Yeah,
36 points. Yeah. Sorry. So that has tightened that battle up. Now Red Bull is still hanging around at minus 13 behind.
Yeah.
Ferrari for second, but their second driver is of no value.
Mm-hmm.
True. Very true.
Then we have Mercedes. Epically, they're pretty much locked in the 4th. Aston Martin is hanging on the 5th. I don't see Alpine, unless we have rain the entire rest of the way, overcoming the what do they got?
3 races.
36, 46. No, it's about 37 points. I don't see that happening. Although the battle between Alpine, Haas, and Red Bull, what are they? VCAB? What are they?
Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso. Minardi.
Yeah.
That's the battle. Alpines with 49, Haas with 46, and RB with 44. So that's the battle there. 6th through 8th is the battle.
Yeah.
So pretty wild there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next race, Sin City. We go to Vegas in 2 weeks. And they're going to need 2 weeks to repair some of the damage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the paperclip. Martinsville.
Nate, the floor is yours. You have
Well, let's
15 minutes.
Nate, let's just talk. Let's just do a quick recap of the race.
Okay.
I thought the race was a great race. A
It
lot of
was
battling.
a great race. Yeah, for sure.
It was. I think it's a great track to have the final cutoff race at, because there's a lot of, especially with the drivers that had to get there on trying to win their way in.
But Shaun, there was 2 fights before Sunday.
The what?
There was 2 fights before Sunday.
Nate, I don't want to talk about the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series. I could care less.
Oh, you don't?
I don't really care. I mean, if there's a NASCAR race and there isn't a fight or an argument or a purse fight, it's not a NASCAR weekend. So I mean, Nate, it's WWE. It's ridiculous.
Good one. No, but listen. This race Sunday was great.
It was a great race until and it was the bunch of people in the back of the field that were that weren't in contention for the win.
Yeah, your boy Austin Dillon.
Yeah, of course.
Watermelon Man. And
yeah, but let's talk Blaney.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Blaney came across the finish line, won.
But,
all right.
Yeah, but I will say this: Blaney and Larson came to play, and they put on an epic battle. Chase Elliott again got involved. It was awesome. Great racing by the 3 of them. Really good stuff between Blaney and Larson. I mean, they were leaning on each other, but they weren't crying at each other. It was just good stuff. It was, there was a little bit of bump and runs, clean bump and runs.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's typical short track racing. Okay. All right. So at the end of the day, Blaney wins his way in.
It's deja vu of last year.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Now I have 2 good guys that I can root for in the final, which is Blaney and Reddick.
No.
Yeah. My only hope. Well, Logano. I think what they should do. I think Rick Ware Racing should bring back Matt Kenseth for this race.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't that be awesome?
What, to win Phoenix, right, Shaun?
No, to put Logano into the fence like he did at Martinsville.
That's the wrong track. And Phoenix was the site of Matt Kenseth's final.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to see Logano.
I was in Winston Cup.
I just want to see Logano. Nate, I just want to see Logano on the fence. I don't really care. All right. That's my take on it.
We'll see come Sunday.
Come Sunday. All right. So we got Blaney wins his way in. Elliott and Larson obviously fall short. And then Nate, have at it.
All right. Well, all right. Where do I begin? The radios between the 1 and 3, and then the 23. Okay.
The crap that went on.
So, Ross Chastain and Austin Dillon are keeping side by side to protect, I guess, that what they had to deal with William Byron.
Correct.
Which, that's bullshit. You should be able to do that, all right, in a race. This is what the playoffs has created. A manufacturer cult of each other.
Very good.
All right. It's caused that. All right.
Yep.
100%
agree.
Toyota, same thing. Except it even got Christopher Bell going. Now, this is where I'm going to ask you on this. Christopher Bell rode the wall. What is that?
Do I have a problem with that?
I'm asking you.
I have no problem with that.
Riding the wall?
No.
Yeah, because, me neither. And it's not like he even was making the corner either. He did it like halfway through the corner and just like.
And honestly, it wasn't even as good
got
as
off
what.
Of it as soon as he got out of the corner, he got off of it. It wasn't like
it wasn't even as good as Chastain's. I mean, it was a mini one.
In fact, he lost position or gained, not gained, but either stayed the same or lost position.
Right.
There was no gain. And
correct.
So, let's take him out of the championship picture. NASCAR, go. Like, I just cannot believe that this is
Christian,
what it's come to.
You're gonna have to beat that out, Christian.
So, I'm sorry.
We can't have that. It's a family broadcast, Nate.
Well, NASCAR is just finally, God. I mean, did we have to get rid of the playoffs? This is the last straw that camel's back. It is.
So what essentially happened was after the race ended, there was Bell beat Buescher, right?
Yep. No, not Buescher. Byron.
Well, Bell beat Byron. However, NASCAR after the race said, "Nah, it's for safety reasons." They claimed that that's not appropriate, and basically, he got punted back, and Byron got in. Then we had Gibbs guys in the trailer. Then we had Jeff Gordon and the Hendrick guys in the trailer, and Jeff Gordon kind of being a little bit. A little too smug for my liking after the race, and just should have just kind of kept his mouth shut. I think Joe Gibbs was completely PO'd. He answered it correctly when asked. He just said, "Not allowed to protest it," and he walked away. So that's all. He wasn't going to get into it. So was not impressed with Jeff Gordon's crap after the race. But anyways, but it is. But this is NASCAR. This is what they got. I mean, Nate, I 100% agree. This is why you shouldn't have the playoff format.
No, and it causes this crap at this kind of venue. Short track racing.
You know what? It could have been at any venue, to tell you the truth, Nate. That the final race was at. They would have been playing around with it. It was just more glaring here, I think.
It blows my freaking mind. I'm just like,
wow.
This is Christian, what it comes
Christian,
to.
You have to rebrog. We're gonna have to.
I didn't say the other F word. I'm trying to backpedal, but oh my god, it just really sucks. I can't.
100% agree.
I mean, Mark Martin spoke out and was just like,
Mark Martin spoke out and then gave an epic picture on social media.
So, yeah.
He was telling NASCAR was number one.
Yeah, he definitely told NASCAR who's number one.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so anyways, I don't know. So, yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, the other unfortunate thing is, again, here we have, I don't know, like on a points thing, like where this stood, but I mean, Larson was your best driver all year, and he's getting, epically hosed.
Yeah, he's not even in it.
He's not in it. Truex, who was punting around all year without a win, got bounced out because he didn't have a win, and he was in every race this year. He was in.
Right. I mean, and Joey Logano, like in the regular
should have been out. Yeah,
he should have been out like a while ago. He's like 15th or 16th at regular points, and now he's like, and just because the 48 failed post race tech,
right? He's
now
in.
Joe Logano's in and could win the whole thing.
Right.
This is
that's why I'm.
This is the Wild West, Shaun.
That's why I'm advocating for Matt Kenseth to come back, because we are going to make it the Wild West.
In Phoenix, I mean, you can just see Lee Diffie getting ready for this. Oh my God!
Oh, Lee Diffie.
He's going to call a championship, Shaun. He's going to call his first NASCAR championship weekend.
I know.
Biggest race of his life. Yeah.
No. All right. So what it comes down to right now. Now, is everybody at 0 right now?
Yeah, the championship 4 or who? Yeah, they're reset, and
So
it's up to them.
basically, it's whoever finishes the best, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can finish 32nd, and the others finish 36th, 35th, and 33rd.
Right. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
You know, like that. You know, so
yeah, because that's what I'm hoping for to make it even a bigger farce. I mean,
just 1 year.
You know. No, but I really don't, because I want either Blaney or Reddick to win it, because I like both of those guys. I mean, they're probably my second and third favorite drivers behind Larson. So
yeah, Larson.
Anyways, Larson.
No, but I'll tell you, Ryan Newman almost gave NASCAR the biggest middle finger in 2014, and Harvick ended up winning the race and the championship. But
yeah,
Ryan Newman finished second that race.
Right.
Only 1 point behind Harvick. And if he won the championship finishing second, it would have been the first time in NASCAR history to win a championship without any race wins. And especially in the playoffs, ooh, baby, that would have been nice. Yeah. But anyway, let's just see what happens with this one. Because I really don't want William Byron to win, not just because I'm not against William Byron, but just, and even Joey Logano for that matter, because they got into this championship for in NASCAR shenanigans, and I really can't stand it. I can't stand it, and it blows.
So it comes down to, we got Blaney
and
Reddick. Who else do we have that didn't? Who else got legitimate? Is it just 4 drivers?
Yeah. Just 4.
So it's
Byron, Logano.
So Byron got in solely
after the Christopher Bell. Yeah,
he got it solely. He didn't win a race. He just got in on points, right?
He won a race. He won the Daytona 500.
No. He didn't win the cutoff race in the final round of the playoffs. So okay, all right, okay. So that's where we're at. You know, it's great. It's just dumbass NASCAR.
100%.
Okay. All right, so we're off to.
So hang on. We got who are we picking for the championship? I'll begin and pick. I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney. I think Ryan Blaney's the man here.
All right, I'm picking Blaney or Reddick. I'm not picking those. Those are my 2 top picks. Christian could care less.
Yeah, Christian.
I'm taking Logano just in spite.
Oh my god!
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Shaun,
and I'm taking Larson for the win.
Oh yeah, all right. I'd like to see Larson win because my gosh.
I think Bell wins.
It'll be Keselowski.
Shaun, now you're talking my language. You're talking my language.
It'll be bad, Brad.
Yeah. You know, Brad led the most laps at Martinsville. They've won a stage. Isn't that amazing?
Right, and we're going to Phoenix, so. Anyways.
Thanks, Shaun.
All right, so we're going to probably the biggest joke of a track that we could have a final race on.
I can't think of a worse track.
Yeah, I can't even think of a worse track on the NASCAR schedule.
Yeah, no, I still have nothing for you.
No, I think it's Phoenix or the Roval. That's it. That's just my picks. I'm not a fan of the Roval.
The Roval?
The track sucks.
Well, AJ Allmendinger loves it.
I get it, but the track sucks. Track sucks. All right. That concludes our NASCAR coverage till next week. And unfortunately, that's it for next week. That's how I feel.
So,
all right.
Well, at least we'll still have F1 after NASCAR.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's go on quickly to Bahrain, where we had another outstanding race in the WEC series, and this race was crazy race. It was wild. That's all I can say. It was wild in both GT3 and in Hypercar. In GT3, I will say this: it was an epic battle between the Corvettes and the 2 Ferraris. Absolute epic battle for the last 2 hours of the race. Back and forth. Ferrari came out on top in GT3, but TF Sport with the two Corvettes went second and third. So congratulations to those guys. That was amazing. And then the good folks from Iron Lynx were actually able to sneak in there for a fourth place finish.
All
so,
right.
Well done to them.
Yes.
Wasn't the Iron Dames, but it was Iron Lynx.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just wild. And Hypercar, again, crazy race, just battling literally from the get-go. Sebastian Buemi got literally spun out having mechanical problems. He basically literally almost parked in front of one of the Corvettes and got spun out. So he went to the pits, they made an adjustment, came back, epically drove through the field and took the win with Brendan Hartley and Ryo Hirakawa. Unfortunately, the other Toyota went DNF, but with this win, Toyota, with Buemi's win and Buemi's drive, he was able to secure the manufacturer's title for Toyota. So that was crazy. And then Porsche, the number 6 car of Andre Lauderer and where is it? Sorry. Oh, where'd it go? I can't find the car. I can't find it. It's finished 11th, and it was Estra, Lauderer, and Vantor. Finishing 11th, they secured enough points to take the Drivers' Championship. And then we had Ferrari finished second, Porsche third, and Peugeot fourth, but post-race inspection found the Ferrari to be too low, and they were sent back. So Peugeot podiumed in the final race of the season. So good on them.
Yep.
The BMWs and the Alpines were, again, quicker this race. So, again, we're making progress. We're in now we're coming up. The BMWs, that's the end of year one for that. Year one, correct, for them? Or year two?
The BMWs?
Yeah. Is this the second year?
I believe this is the second year for
Okay.
them.
So we're coming into the third year now, and I think next year is going to be epic. The only concerning thing coming out of this race is that Lamborghini is not 100% certain where they're going to be next year. I think the most logical thing, and what the problem is the mandate for 2 cars from the FIA to be in the WEC series. I think what's going to happen, you're going to see Lamborghini take a sabbatical from WEC, and I think they're going to come and just run an IMSA. Probably they'll definitely do the endurance series, but I think what they'll probably do is a somewhat modified. They'll probably do, let's say they won't do Detroit, and Long Beach. Say they skip those, they'll probably do all the other tracks.
I just want to stand corrected for a second. This is BMW GTP's first year in hypercar.
First year in hypercar?
Yep.
Okay. So, I think they're going to be strong next year. The cars were quick this year. I think Cadillac moving to Jota and being a 2-car team, I think is going to help them. I mean, Jota did amazing stuff with the 2 Porsches.
Yep.
So good on them. So we'll see what happens. The Alpines, I think, are going to be, again, strong next year. So, and Peugeot, hey, they're making progress with that car. So, So not bad. All right. That puts a quick wrap on WEC. And their season's over.
Just a small note, and just to point out how successful of a year Porsche's had. Every single championship that was available between drivers and manufacturers, and in the Endurance Cup as well, that was in IMSA. Between IMSA and WEC, Porsche won every single one of them, except for the WEC manufacturer's title, which went to Toyota, and it was where is it? They lost out by 2 points. I mean,
2 points.
Seriously.
And 2 points, yeah, that was after the disqualification. It was more, but after the disqualification of the Ferrari, it came down 2 points.
Yeah. I mean,
so.
Regardless, that is a heck of a battle between Toyota and
Mm-hmm.
Porsche, and for Porsche to be 2 points away from perfection. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I don't know how much
No.
better it could get for them.
Massive rebound from last year. So
Yeah, I mean,
they,
and so they to just kind of clarify that they swept both GT3 championships across the board.
yeah.
Um,
But in the WEC series and in IMSA, you have to give a lot of credit to the privateer teams that are running the 996. What do they call them? 963s.
Yep.
Yeah, the 963s. So congratulations to those guys. So looking forward to next season. Hopefully, hopefully Lamborghini can get things straightened out. I really want to. I think they've made serious progress with the car, but there shouldn't be mandates on number of cars and stuff. It's like just come on. Hate to say it. It's like just
yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. But
Yeah,
it's
but
it
you know,
stinks with some of the tracks that they go to, and then they just sit there and then say, well, we're limited by number of garage space. I'm like, well,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
but you can, if you just adopt
I
the
mean,
style
let's just
that IMSA takes for most of your races aside from Le Mans, because I get Le Mans, but take all the other races, go set it up, like how everyone else does. You get very minimal space, do the one car deal, and that's
yeah,
it. So
yeah. So all right. Move on to some news. IndyCar. Prema has finalized their lineup. So joining Callum Ilott is Robert Schwartzman.
Great signing. I think it's going to
I
be a
think it's
great
good.
signing.
I think it's good. Ilott's got some experience in IndyCar. Schwartzman's got overall experience in Formula cars, Formula One, and also has experience, in hypercars. So I think that's a good. I think that's
Funny
good.
enough, I did not see this signing coming because I was thinking it would be like Logan Sargent because he had a test with Meyer Shank, and I would have guessed they would put either Sargent or maybe a more experienced driver in the car just to kind of get Prema's, their feet
Well,
wet
I
in
think
IndyCar.
Prema was going with two things. One is I think they felt with Ilott there was enough experience there on the IndyCar front. I think what they want to do is they want to be what they are known for, which is bringing in drivers and giving them a chance. So that's how they work. I don't think Logan Sargent. I don't even think Logan Sargent can be competitive in IndyCar. So, I mean, I think he should be looking for an NXT ride. So,
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, seriously. I mean,
I think
what's
he
he
might
done?
show up in the ovals too. I think he may surprise
Who?
Schwartzman.
Oh, Schwartz. No, he admitted today, like in two interviews I read today, he's just going to be very, I think, more cautious than anything. I mean, who knows?
He
I mean,
says that, but now then once he gets
no,
the
yeah, but Nate, you can't go out and crash cars. Okay, you
no,
just can't
no
do it.
kidding, no kidding.
are
But
you
I mean,
Rossi your way to a Indy 500 finish?
Right. I
exactly,
mean,
Sean.
so
Sean, what did he just
I
say?
don't, I don't
F1
think.
reject won the Indy 500.
Yeah, but he also had Brian Herter on his timing stand. Robert Schwartzman doesn't have Brian Herter on his timing stand. All right.
But we have some strong strategy on the stand, right? I mean, Prema's no slouch in racing.
Have any of them done IndyCar racing?
No.
Okay. Leave it at
They might
that.
have some good data. I'm not saying they're going to win, if they get a podium, a complete shock, because it'd be along the scale of if Roman Grosjean got a podium with the team he's on. I really don't see him performing out of the gate right away. It's a learning year.
Anyways, let's year two. Let's discuss. I'm excited there's another team, but also at the same time, I kind of think it's BS that they didn't get a charter. So That's ridiculous. You want to talk Mark Miles?
I mean, isn't he going to do Indy next?
Who?
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking of the other Miles. Never mind. I was thinking of someone else.
Miles Rowe?
Yeah. He's
Miles
doing
Rowe.
Indy
I was talking your guy, Mark Miles.
I haven't been even thinking about him.
I don't know who hates him worse, you or Pato.
I'm up there, aren't I? So
I think you are.
he
You went
just
down
has.
that trail.
I already have my whole rant on his schedule ideas.
Let's hit that up. We can do that next week.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Again. Gosh. And he just
All right.
shoots himself in the foot.
The only other thing floating around is it's this vicious rumor that Lewis isn't going to run the next 3 races.
What?
Yeah. There's rumors flying that Lewis may not run the last 3 races because of a cryptic thing he said during the end of the race, which he said,
No.
well, if this is the last one.
I think that's been a sound clip that everyone's sharing around and not sharing the whole thing of what he said to the finish.
Here is the direct quote. If this is the last time that I get to perform, it's a shame. It wasn't great, but grateful for you.
I feel like there's something missing.
Go back in the car.
Okay. All right. Okay. Should Checo be dropped?
100%. Absolutely.
I agree. That's not going to happen, though.
No, but it's so stupid. Like, you've already ruined your Constructors Championship.
Killing him.
I mean, geez, at least Bottas could, like, finish. My God. Like...
All right.
Like, what do you do from here? How do you save your Constructors Championship? Just put Yugi or
you're pretty much in it? You're not gonna.
It's impossible at this point.
Right. It's impossible to win it, but you could try and get second. But I don't know. Anyways, all right. Given his strong finish over the last several races, is it possible that Daddy Stroll may cut Lance loose after this year? Is that possible?
He has to, man. Come on. I mean, just
especially with Newey.
How many more
coming
memes
in?
can we create about him?
Right.
It's just another meme every week.
Yeah, 100% agree. Thoughts, Christian, on that? Not going to happen, right?
I mean, he should. I mean, he's. I was thinking about this last night too. If you just kind of look at I guess like the next set of drivers out of F1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the seat at Sauber is still up in the air, but I've seen some reports that Bortoleto is going to get that ride. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's about as concrete as anything. That team has reported anyways. So, I'm sorry. Any other rumor has gone about that seat. So I mean, assuming that. Let's see. Assuming that K-Mag, Ricardo, Joe, and Sargent, and we'll leave Colapinto in there for sakes. I guess him and Valtteri are on the same playing field. The next driver out or in jeopardy of losing a ride, Stroll is definitely there, and so is Perez. But Perez gets wrapped into this whole Sainz and Colapinto rumor that's been floating around of do they swap them or does one take the other? And then I think Albon is in the hot seat because you dominate Sargent like he has for over the past 2 years, and then Colapinto shows up and starts to, outscore him or be level on pace with him in the two or three races he's done. So I think he's definitely in the hot seat now. But
Well, it just really depends on what happens. I think with Sainz, right? Because you have Sainz and Albon next year.
well, I think regardless of if it's Sainz or Colapinto, Colapinto has shown really good strength against Albon, and I think Sainz would do perfectly fine alongside Albon. I mean, he'd probably even beat him.
I think he would outperform him in the car most points. I mean, consistently, not just like 1 or 2 weeks, and then it ends up being he gets the most points. I think he's going to really outscore him by, I mean, most of the calendar at least, right? Because I think there'll be a couple of weekends where Alex Albon does out race him, or just by retirements or something like that. Something's beyond the driver's control. But I really do think looking at this, Sainz is going to be the better driver. I wouldn't exactly call him the number 2 driver at Ferrari because, I mean, is there a number 1, number 2 driver at Ferrari? You would probably argue with Charles Leclerc, but Carlos Sainz isn't really all that of a number 2 driver at all. He has more characteristics of a number 1 driver.
I mean, Leclerc has definitely outperformed Sainz on a consistent basis, but when Ferrari has had their dominant weekends, Sainz has been there, which is kind of telling, which is another telltale sign too. But I think it's with Sainz's recent performance with Ferrari of how he's been getting on this season. I think that's the rumors that you're hearing of him and Colapinto being swapped around in some fashion to try and get Sainz at Red Bull is becoming more realistic because I mean why wouldn't you think it? I mean now whether everyone's speculating all of it, I mean I would like to see Sainz in that seat, but I mean then again that would also just throws a huge wrench into Red Bull's junior program as it is, because then what are you going to do with Yuki? What are you going to do with Lawson? I mean, Lawson has hung on long enough too, and I think you get to a point like how Sainz and Ricciardo did, where Ricciardo got promoted to the top team, but I mean Sainz ended up jumping ship because he needed to go make an opportunity for himself, which he did. So.
Right.
But yeah.
Anything else in news and notes?
No, that's pretty much it. So we have Nate picking Blaney to win. I'm picking the tag team of Blaney and Reddick to win the championship. I'm going on a limb to say Larson will win the race. And Christian's going to Logano to win the championship.
Crazy stuff. I can't believe NASCAR's already done with this season. Feels like yesterday was the Daytona 500.
Does it?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I mean, that was a terrible finish, but a good race.
I just sent you guys the best automobile racing sponsor.
Yeah, well, Harry Gant made that famous.
Oh, yeah.
Well, It was also on Porsche 962s, 956s. It was also in IndyCar. So, Nate, I think it covers the gamut of
it does
motorsports.
It does. Yes.
It was also in Formula One as well.
What car?
On the marches that ran. So isn't that exciting? It was on the Ram marches. Look at that. All right.
Very nice.
On that note.
Good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Shaun Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.